Jesus said, "Whoever does not hate father and mother and family and life itself cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry the cross and follow cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not give away all their possessions cannot be my disciple." So I guess the question is, how does this guy have any disciples? Seriously, these were appealing ideas for those who sought to follow Jesus? Hating your family, the only source of stability you had in the world? Carrying a cross, a torturous symbol of life under the boot of Rome? Giving away all your possessions? Well, that's just crazy in any age. Were these words actually supposed to gin up some followers? No family, torture and death, impoverished life from now on? That's what I'm looking for in Jesus. Sign me up. Was that what it was like? Well, yes and no. Mostly no, I think. Jesus' words clearly carry a certain sense of exaggeration about them. If you hear nothing else today, be assured, for instance, that Jesus probably doesn't want you to hate your family. Does not want you to hate your brothers. Ahem, I hope my own children are listening. No, what Jesus is concerned about is our allegiances, our priorities. And he is making the case that allegiance to him is supposed to come first. Besides that, right before Jesus says all these things, the story opens with these words. "Now large crowds were traveling with him, and he turned and he said, 'Hey, all you people following me, do you really know what you are getting yourself into?'" Well, that's kind of a rough translation, but there does seem to be a way in which Jesus is letting the crowds know that this isn't a cupcake party. This is serious stuff. Jesus has already announced to his closest followers that he's going to Jerusalem, and there he's going to be handed over and put to death. He has already left everything behind, and it makes sense that those who are following him better be prepared to leave everything behind as well. Which is what makes it a little bit yes, too. In a way, Jesus' words about family, cross, and possessions were true. Leaving behind these things and taking up new ones was the very reality experienced by those who were already disciples of Jesus. Remember the disciples James and John? Jesus called them from their lives as fishermen, and they got up and they left their father, left him right there in the fishing boat. Or how about Matthew, who was a tax collector, literally raking in the dough, and he left all that behind to respond to the call of this wandering rabbi. Some of the disciples would even lose their lives for the sake of the gospel. And so we see Jesus' words are one part scary warning to those who might consider following him without considering the cost, and at the same time a real life testament to actual struggles, the real cost of discipleship experienced by those who knew that reality from that time moving forward. Among the disciples of Jesus, among the early Christians who would have read these words from Luke, being separated from your family, suffering for Jesus' sake, losing everything, these were all real possibilities. But it's not really like that for us, is it? Which is good, I guess, that we don't have to fear these things so much. But then we miss out on something too, because we live in another time. Like, think about it. What does it really cost for you to be here in worship this morning? A few cents of gas, an hour or two, getting up a little earlier than maybe you want. Compared with the threats Jesus throws out today, we've got it pretty easy. So easy that it's tempting to be complacent, to not care too much, to think that this following Jesus thing is no big deal, just a cupcake party maybe. Well, if so, then maybe we are in this story in Luke's gospel more than we think. Maybe we are kind of like those crowds who were traveling along with Jesus and who need to hear him give this warning, this expectation about what true discipleship is supposed to mean. It's not about tagging along for the fun. It is about Jesus making a difference in your life. The fact that you seek to live as a disciple of Jesus is supposed to have an effect. Life with your family, how you give of yourself, even if it means suffering. And yes, how you treat your possessions and your wealth. What is it supposed to cost to be a disciple of Jesus? Your life. Maybe not your life in the you literally have to lose it and hate it sense. But let us make no mistake, following Jesus means giving our lives to him and giving our lives over to priorities and habits of faith that are serious. Maybe we don't always do a great job of communicating that together. Maybe we don't always count the costs, name our expectations for a life of faith. Here's what I mean. Picture this. I went to this workshop a few years ago. It was an academic gathering, and I had signed up to go to this workshop. It was because the topic sounded interesting to me. That's why I wanted to go. I wanted to listen to the speaker. And when the workshop began, the first thing the speaker said was, "What are your expectations for this workshop time? What do you want to get out of it?" Everyone in the room just sort of sat there for a minute, dumbfounded. It's as if we collectively said, "What do you mean? We came to hear you speak on an assigned topic. What does it matter what our expectations are? Just talk. Entertain us." Sometimes I'm afraid this is how we treat faith, Sunday worship even. We tag along as part of the crowd, we listen, and we are entertained because it sounds interesting, but we have no clear expectations of what it costs, what it matters to us. This week, Burns, Corley, and Diane Richardson spent some time reviewing our congregation's membership roll. This is something leaders do each year. It's a tedious process, and I'm thankful to Burns and Diane for their work. The task really boils down to figuring out if there are any members who have not met the minimum requirements to continue to be a member of the church. And that basic requirement is this: you have to receive communion and make a financial contribution to the church at least once every 3 years. 3 years. So Burns and Diane were sitting in the office poring over these lists, pulling their hair out, trying to figure out who had done what. And at the same time I was listening to that process unfold, I was reading and wrestling with these words of Jesus: "Whoever does not hate family and life itself and carry the cross and give away all your possessions cannot be my disciple." How did we get from give up everything to give once every 3 years? Maybe Jesus doesn't want us to give up everything today. But he surely wants us to give more than the minimum. And that's something we should continually be wrestling with as a church. Count the cost, says Jesus. Know what this life as a follower of Jesus is. Know that it means something for us, requires something of us. That's the challenging word Jesus gives to those who seek to follow him. But deep down, we know that he does this out of love. For Jesus is a Lord who relentlessly pursues us in love. Jesus knows what it costs to lose your family and to give up everything and to go to the cross. He did precisely that for you and me. And now he invites us into this challenging life of discipleship out of love. It is a difficult thing for sure. But by his love and by the power of the Spirit, we can follow where he leads. What is it going to mean in your life to be a disciple of Jesus this week?